When you're at Keeners and working on kayaking, there are so many different skills out there for all of us to work on. Some of us are really, really good at going downriver. Some of us are good at staying upright. Some of us are good at turning the kayak. Some of us are good at paddling fast in a straight line. Some of us are good at boofing. Some of us are good at doing tricks on a wave, some tricks on doing in a hole. And all of these together, whatever we're best at and not best at, come together to make us a kayaker. And no matter what skill it is in life that you're trying to learn, there's all kinds of different little bits and pieces that come together that equal how good you're going to be at this and how much fun you're going to have. But the bigger deal is that you are a point in your lives where you get to choose who it is that you eventually want to become. And so you are a lot more like someone who is choosing what bits of fabric you want to lay up your life to become. Do you want to be the kind of person that is like this or like that? And I know that a lot of adults stop thinking that way and they get stuck being the person that they've been, whether they like to be that way or not. But as teenagers, you get to think in all kinds of new and exciting ways all the time. And I'm here to tell you that the life that you are surrounded with and the society that is around us makes it almost impossible to turn out to be the kind of person that most of us actually want to be. Because unfortunately, society wants life to be measurable. They want to be able to tell you whether you are succeeding or not. And the only way they can do that is to come up with things that can be quantitated in order to measure whether you are successful or not. So what kind of things do we measure? We measure you by grades. We measure you by how much money you earn eventually. We measure you by body mass index. We measure you by how many push-ups or pull-ups you can do. We measure you by all kinds of things that don't matter at all. We measure you by all kinds of things that when your life is over with, you will not ever, ever, ever think back when you were lying on your deathbed and say, man, if only I had earned a little bit more money. Or man, I wish I had studied a little harder and I could have pulled an A on that science test all those years ago. No one on their deathbed thinks about that stuff. And yet that's what everyone you know tells you is important. They tell you that someday you need to get really good grades so that you can get into a good school. And that with that good school, you're going to get a good education. And with that good education, you're going to be able to make a job that's going to pay a lot of money. And eventually you're going to be able to stay in shape and look a certain way and hopefully find a very attractive partner for life where you will have children and where you will do all kinds of other measurable things like buying expensive houses and cars. And none of it matters. And it's impossible to get out of that society when you're stuck in the middle of it or realize that these numbers, the numbers of followers I have on Instagram, the number of views my video gets, these are like the world that gets pulled over your eyes to hide the truth from you. That life can't be measured. That the things that matter most have no numbers that can be attached. That there's no way to measure satisfaction or kindness or generosity or connection in relationships. There's no way to measure a life well lived. And when we're here at Keeners, we have a lot less of this measurement stuff around. And it's one of the reasons that I love doing this over and over again. But what you need to think about long and hard is, when my race is run, what do I want to have done? When my race is run, am I going to be the kind of person that's going to be able to look back and say, well, I checked off all these measurables, so I clearly lived a good life, even though I had no friends, and even though I managed to alienate all of my family, and I felt terrible about the ruthless, selfish decisions I made. Like, that's what society seems to think is a successful life, if you've got a lot of money and a lot of stuff, and you got good grades. But in reality, what makes for a successful life is a life based in kindness, a life based in a desire to make the world better for the people around you, a life based in this overwhelming need to share life with other people and share experiences. that our lives are meant for so much more than what everyone out there at home is going to tell you it's about. That you are made for more than that. That you are made to change the world one bit at a time, one smile at a time, one invitation at a time. That ultimately, when it's all said and done, you need to sit back and be able to say, wow, what a ride it's been. I'm so glad I made the choices I made. And so when you leave this place, and I hope even when you're here for the next week and a half or whatever it is, you spend some time thinking, what is it that I need to be the kind of me that I really want to be? And I know for me personally, what I need to be surrounded by positive people. Be able to get outside a lot. I need to be able to be doing things that are challenging to me so I can learning. I need to be able to share what I'm doing with other people. I need to be able to share my thoughts with other people, like I'm doing right now. I need to be able to have good connections and relationships with friends and family and people I'm dating so that I can share my life with other people. Like, it's very important to me to have someone or a group of people who are seeing what I'm doing and appreciate it. And so for me, at the end of every day and every week, if I get all that stuff, I'm happy. I feel great. If I don't get all that stuff, I'm not happy. I don't feel great. I get irritable. I get depressed. And so a lot of you right now have adults telling you what to do all the time. A lot of you right now have adults telling you how to think all the time. But very, very soon, you're going to be able to make a lot of choices all the time. And when you do that, I hope you remember what's most important. That you need to feel every day as though you've made the world a better place. That all of the measurables is literally just a smokescreen to keep you from realizing that none of your teachers, that none of your coaches, even me, can assign a number to anything in your life that matters. That a life based primarily in kindness, generosity, love, and relationships, that is a life worth living. Thank you very much.